So, what is the best way for us to communicate with our higher self?
Hmm. I've always thought the best way to communicate with the higher self is to get in touch with emotions. Because the emotions are basically the physical reflection of the vibration you hold, and the vibration you hold, essentially, the higher it is, the closer it is to your higher self. And usually that's the one thing which people have connection with. So I think that it's kind of like pretty useful for people to utilize the talents and tools that they already have. So a lot of people, they aren't hearing spirit, they're not seeing spirit yet, but they are feeling it. That's what emotions are. And so if you have your emotions, it's kind of like the doorway. And you can start really paying attention to how different things make you feel. Start deliberately living your life in a way where you're going in the direction of your bliss. And then what you start to see when you start to do that is all these synchronicities popping up. And you can kind of put one foot in front of the other in line with these synchronicities, and pretty soon you're living your joy, you're living your purpose and passion. And intuition starts to speak through your emotions that way, where you just know you're not supposed to be in this place anymore, so you leave, or you just know that you're supposed to talk to this person, and you do. And when you start following the synchronicities, you start being lined up with the people, places, events, opportunities that you've been asking for. And I noticed that it doesn't take very long once we hit that point for people to start hearing like ringing in their ears, and
Uh-huh.
they start experiencing kind of the byproduct of communication with things that are outside this dimension, such as the higher self. And once they get that ring in the ears, they start paying attention. Every time they get the ring in the ears, they'll start seeing signs. Like maybe they're looking at the clock, and the clock's always got the same time on it, or it's always 555, 444, 1111. And it starts to make sense that there are these things that are outside of this dimension. That becomes very real to us. And when that becomes very real to us, focusing on it makes it stronger. And then pretty soon you'll hear people will begin to get messages. So it's not like we have to sit here and deliberately teach ourselves how to hear the messages from the higher self. It'll sort of come in either as actual like auditory messages, or else it comes as a just knowing. And that is a message from the higher self. That's us communicating with the higher self. When we meet someone, we just know something about them, or we just know that we should be here or shouldn't be here. That is the best way, I would think.
So it's really about intuition to a great extent.
Yeah. Well, intuition is the higher self.
Okay.
That is what it is.
So is the higher self just God, or is the higher self an individual, like our own individual spirit, but a greater aspect of it?
The answer is both. So the source, which we could consider God, is a totality, more like an ocean, whereas the higher self is like a current within the ocean. So the current is ocean, but it is got a sort of a separate quality within that ocean. So you could think of the physical being as a wave within the wave, which we call the higher self, of the ocean. Makes sense?
Yeah, and it reminds me of a ocean analogy of my own, which I probably didn't make up myself, but I have likened our consciousness to that of an island, in that on the surface it appears to be separate, but as you go deeper down, you discover it is simply a projection of the Earth,
Yes.
and that we are connected to the Earth and to everything, and it is simply when we are at that surface level of consciousness that we appear to be separate. But as you go down, then you discover that you're just a projection of something much greater.
Yes.